My fiancé cancelled our wedding and ran away with his first love, but he realized that he's not in love with her anymore and begs me to let him come back home. My fiancé and I had been together for 3 years. He was my first boyfriend. We laughed, cried, worried, and were happy together. He was my best friend, confidence, support, and comfort. I looked at him and could see our future together. I never thought something like this could happen to me. The man I loved could have never done anything like that to me. It all started about 2 months ago. His ex, high school sweetheart together for 7 years, moved back to our country and wanted to catch up with Mark. He told me they broke up because they could not sustain an LDR when she left to pursue postgraduate studies. They hadn't been in contact for about 5 years. She sent him an email, and he showed it to me, and it was completely platonic. She was just curious about what he had become. He asked me if he could meet her, and I said yes. I trusted him. So he went, but when he returned, he was a bit withdrawn. He is usually chatty but was dismissive when I asked how it went. I let it go. However, in the following weeks, he was often on his phone. He picked random fights with me and didn't look me in the eyes when we had intimacy, didn't whisper loving words either. I'm touchy/clingy, and in our 3 years together, he had never once recoiled or refused my embrace, but he started doing it. I usually hug him like a koala when he returns home from work, but he only lets me do it twice. It was such a sudden change. I asked him what was wrong, but he just said he wasn't feeling too good then. On a Saturday, I visited his grandma, as we usually knit together, and I was gone the whole day. I feel close to her. When I came back, I found him packing his stuff. My whole world fell apart. He was being so cowardly. He told me he was sorry for making me suffer like this, but sometimes life gives you a second chance, and you have to recognize it for what it is. He loved me but realized the feelings weren't the same when he met his ex. He said he regretted letting go of her, that he had found himself again. It had been a difficult choice for him, but he had to take this chance. His ex wanted him back. She had realized what she had lost and risked losing for good when he told her he was getting married. He refused her initially, but as time passed and they talked together, his old feelings returned. He hoped I would forgive him one day and understand. I cried as he was talking. It sounded stupid, but it was like a stranger in front of me. He said he would still pay rent and part of the bills until our lease was up and I could find another place. He makes a lot more than me, and I couldn't afford to live in our apartment alone. I begged him not to make this mistake, that he was being fooled by an idealized memory of their past together, that he was having cold feet. But he was like a wall. He didn't even look at me. At about 10 p.m., a truck was outside with one of his friends waiting for him. He came to help him move. I wasn't close to that particular friend, but he seemed sorry for me. Mark hugged me goodbye and left. I hadn't cried that hard in years. I slept in our spare room, not to feel the emptiness of our room with his things gone. I sank to the deepest pathetic and tried to call him, but it went to voicemail. I had no idea where he went, but I assumed he was now living with his ex after 3 weeks of talking again. How ridiculous. I'm really lucky to have supportive friends and family. My best friend even moved in for 5 days. My parents wanted me back home, but I wasn't ready to leave. Mark is a bit messy, and I'm manic, so having everything perfectly neat felt weird. I missed his messiness. It was as if he was the one making our house a home. He used to joke about me wanting the house to look like it was on sale or in a catalog. Not waking up to make breakfast and not seeing him read lying on the sofa while I studied felt weird. Not buying his favorite snack or powdered proteins when doing groceries felt weird. I felt lost at first. It was like grieving. Usually, when people break up, their relationship goes south, but to me, it comes out of nowhere. I still loved him. I was still planning the wedding and working on my side to build our future together. It was all gone in a day. I wish I had been smarter and refused to meet his one that got away. His family was dumbfounded. I still went to see his grandma, and she told me he was a fool and that he would come crawling back to me. She was the first person who managed to make me laugh. His mom, my mom, and I started making calls to cancel all reservations. Luckily, the store agreed to take back the dress. We didn't pay much for the location as we canceled early. Next was to inform the guests. He had been gone for about 3 weeks then. His family was furious with him, so they didn't contact him much. My only contact with him was the signed check he made to cover the wedding cancellation. However, about a week ago, I received a letter from him. He apologized for leaving me like this. He said he made the biggest mistake of his life. He couldn't even believe what he had done. He was writing me this letter because he dared not face me. You were right. I was running after a perfect relationship that had never existed. I regret it so much. I thought I was in love with her, but I was in love with what she represented. My younger self had no responsibility and only dreams. I had cold feet and got afraid of moving forward into this new segment of my life. I couldn't stop thinking about you when I was with her. She is not you. She doesn't know me or love me like you. She doesn't smell like you. I missed hearing you sing randomly throughout the day, having someone nagging me to pick up stuff, and planning Halloween parties for the kids with you. When I wrote this letter, we would probably have been decorating and shopping had I not been a fool. Everyone told me, but I was being a blind fool. I would do anything to go back in the past, and slap some sense into myself. I would do anything for you to forgive me. We have already started canceling everything, but I'm ready to pay for everything myself. You can date someone else even to score if you want as long as you return to me. He kept on with apologies and begging me to forgive him. I told my family, left friends out for the moment, and his mom and grandma. Grandma had a very satisfying told you so moment. However, She is rooting me to forgive him. His mom was supposed to send a formal letter to guests to tell them the wedding was off, but now she is waiting for my answer. I don't know what to do. I love him with all my heart, but I don't know if I can get over what he did to me. He made me feel worthless. He threw me away as if I was no one to him after 3 years. He gave up on us for some ghost from his past when we were happiest. How will we sustain our marriage if he can leave me when we are doing well? Will he leave the moment things get hard? He hurt me so badly and expect me to forgive him? He wants us to meet on Sunday, but I'm not sure. Update: Mark wanted to meet on Sunday, but I unblocked him from my phone and told him I didn't want to meet and to please not contact me anymore. He answered, "Please, baby, I need to talk to you. Can we meet another day? I know I effed up really bad and hurt you deeply, but I'll do anything to make it up to you. Anything you ask, I'll do it." Needless to say, it just angered me more. How dare he use terms of endearment with me? I just blocked him again after that. I met his mom on Saturday and told her to proceed with the cancellation notification. We had an emotional moment, and she told me even though she would have wanted us to stay one big family, she would have done the same in my place. She had hoped I would find the strength to forgive him, but she understood, and so the wedding is indeed still being cancelled. I rearranged all the furniture in the house and bought new bedding sets to make a new start, and I moved to the spare room for good. It looks different, and I like it. He told our friends because some brought it up to me, asking if we are getting back together, but said they didn't want to side. On Sunday evening, I had a visitor. I never had people coming this late. It was usually around 9 p.m. When I went to look through the peephole, I saw Mark with his ex. I seriously had a moment of panic. He must still have the key for the main entry since he managed to get to my door without using the intercom. I don't know if it was a cowardly thing to do, but I just chose not to open it. I knew they knew I was there, and I heard him ask me to please let him in, that he just wanted to talk through the door. Honestly, even though I feel better, I don't think I'm emotionally stable enough to deal with him, especially him with his ex. They stayed about 15 minutes, and then they left. I thought he would get the message, but they came again yesterday around the same time, and I didn't open it again. They waited even longer. I know I'm not being an adult, so now I don't know what to do. I feel nervous in my own house because I dread the moment they return. He knows my schedule and comes when I return from my Zumba class. However, yesterday was a holiday, so we didn't have class. I'm afraid he will return, and I don't think I can face him.